Hi, my name's Lee. I'm just going to give a little testimony on what God's done for me in my life. So, I've had a lifelong battle with heroin addiction. I started very young. It was all over the place because of the industry I was in to make a living. So, I pretty much used all my life, and I went to rehab in 2013 and learned about a 12-step program. I got out of the rehab, and it worked for a while, and they talked about how it was a physical, mental, and spiritual disease. But they never really, I didn't know anything about God, so I didn't really work on the spiritual part of it. It was mental and physical, and it worked for a couple of years until it didn't, and I ended up using it again. So I relapsed. I was out for 2 or 3 years doing the same stuff. It just got really, really bad. A lot of overdoses, things like that. And I went to rehab again. And I remembered a lot that I learned from that program, and it kept revolving in my head, the spirituality part of it. And I knew that's what I was missing. When I was in rehab, I had to decide where I was going to go when I got out. So I could either go back to do the same thing that I was doing, which was go home and probably be able to sustain it for a while, but I felt that I would go back, and now I was scared for my life at that point because I had been overdosing often. I don't know how it happened, but I looked at a bunch of different places where I could go where there'd be some accountability, and Pastor Deb and Destiny House, actually the counselor at the rehab I was in, we got pretty close and we were talking about stuff, and she brought it up, and she mentioned it was faith-based. So long story short on that, when I got out of rehab, that's where I went. They actually drove me to Destiny House. And when I got there and I went over the rules, I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. There were Bible studies 5 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning, and church service twice. I was like, twice a week? Why do I got to do that? But all I can say is the 6 months that I stayed there, it built a foundation in God, and I have it's not even a thought anymore. I always believed in God because I've been in messes where I got pulled out and I shouldn't have. I avoided going to prison. I avoided homelessness, and now I know that had nothing to do with me. It wasn't the plan. So I got a foundation in God through this church and through Destiny House, and I've met people, most of them anyway, that'll probably be in my life for the rest of my life, God willing. But it's funny because all those things that I didn't want to do when I moved in, all those rules, I still do all those things. I still go to Bible study 5 days a week, even though I'm not living there. I go to church service twice a week if I can. Sometimes Wednesdays, my schedule is messed up. But the biggest thing it's done for me, God has delivered me from that addiction. I have no obsession to use drugs, and I can say honestly for the first time in my life that truthfully, because even though I was clean and I wasn't using for a few years, I still would think about it constantly. I still would romance it, and that's all gone. And I've done nothing different other than chase God, and I don't like using the word delivered because I know it can come back if I don't stay vigilant, but it's the only word that comes into my brain is the obsession to use drugs is gone. And again, it's all because of prayer and living the right way. It's not only that I went to church and I started reading the Bible. I know when I'm doing wrong. I know when it's my spirit that lives in me, or the Holy Spirit that lives in me telling me what to do. And I know when it's my flesh, which is my brain. I never knew those were separate things. I thought it was all, I don't know how to explain it, but I know what's right and what's wrong, and I instantly, when I do wrong, which I do, still, I convict myself. So I know that I'm doing wrong, and I can fix it, and I don't have to make that mistake over and over and over again, but I don't have to ever make that huge mistake, which is sticking a substance in my body, because for me, right now, that's the worst thing I could do. And I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect or anything like that, but in God, I get better every day. It's better every day. All the relationships that I wrecked prior to this are all fixed. And we're not talking a long time. I mean, it hasn't been that long. So The relationships are fixed. My job, which sent me to rehab twice, welcomed me back with open arms, and they're giving me my responsibility back. And again, the friends that I have are true friends, and we're like-minded. So for me, I don't know how I got there, but I thank God that I got there. And now I know it was God that put me there, because I would have never made it there on my own. And I could never repay what's been given to me just in the last year. I'm gonna try, but I don't see there any way of ever repaying it. But I'm gonna just worship God, and I'm gonna try to do the best I can to live as a good Christian. And I feel that the drug part of my life, which is the most destructive part of my life, has been removed from me. And all I can thank is God for that. So, man, I don't even know how to say thank you to Pastor Deb and Pastor Ed. I mean, literally, I can credit you with helping me save my life, showing me God and bringing me in. I love you guys. I'll do anything for you. Thank you.